welcome to the Sensitive Warrior, where feeling everything is your superpower. I'm Doreen Lang. I am host. I'm also author of Embracing Venus, Achieve a Life Lit Up for Highly Sensitive People. This is my book here for your viewing pleasure. I'm also a Reiki master. I work in a studio, Blossom Healing Studio in Norwell, Massachusetts, where I offer deep relaxation, people to get tuned into their sensitivity. And for some people, that means deep intuition and psychic abilities, which is so interesting. I'm also a coach. I help highly sensitive people thrive. Um, Being a coach is really interesting, but however, coaching and helping people find joy is either bringing in highly sensitive people and really average people are coming in every day. And I mean, not particularly highly sensitive. So I'm really excited today, though, to talk about something beyond myself here. I've got a really interesting guest. Her name is Cara Cipolo. She is the owner of Cape and Plymouth Business Marketing. And welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is so fun to
Yeah,
have you for a change. I know you're always interviewing and
I
leading the
know.
charge,
I
right?
had you on my panel for enterprising women.
That was really fun.
Yes. And I'm usually the one doing the interviewing or hosting. So I'm not usually on this side.
Yeah.
So it's different for a change. And I don't mind it, actually. It's kind of nice.
You know what? When I thought about you, I thought, she's not going to mind this.
No, I know. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I really like being on. I'm not sure yet. So we'll
Yeah.
find out.
You'll have to see how you feel today.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
give you some feedback afterward on on which side I like being on.
Well, I think the reason I brought you on was because when I heard you talking to the audience,
Yeah.
you had brought up your mother. And
Yes.
it's a real sensitive subject
Which
for me,
happened to
too,
be her birthday that day.
that day. Right.
Yeah, it was wild.
That is wild. Yeah. But that's not a coincidence. It was a reason, right? And
I'm
then you,
sure. Yeah, I mean, well, it just happened to be the date, and I'm not even going to say I forget the year of her birthday. I think she would have been 61.
wow.
I'm not sure. She died when she was 54, 6 years ago. But yeah, it was a moment, and it was a wonderful day.
Yeah, you did a great job,
Thank
and you
you.
brought everyone together, which was so nice. And I think so many people can relate, and it's so interesting. Talking about mother love, we all can feel hopefully, we all have a wonderful experience. Of course, not everyone will, but for those
Right.
people who can share our sentiment today, today we are going to dive into deeply personal conversation about loss and feeling and kind of the unique way people process it. And as a highly sensitive person, we do feel things even more intensely. And I know that where you shared that, I know that that just kind of really was something you wanted to talk about. And
Yeah.
even though it's so personal, when you think of your mother, it's so personal. There's
Yeah.
something about it too that you just really want to share. There's
Yes.
something like it's personal on one side, and like you've got to meet my mom, even though she's passed.
Yes.
So I really kind of want to talk about how we're honoring our emotions and the lessons we've learned along the way.
Yeah.
So if any of you have ever felt grief in a way that words can't quite capture, this episode is for you. So let's begin. But before we do, just tell us a little bit about yourself, because you're well known in the South Shore because you
Oh,
really
there's nothing to
you
know.
really get out there. But people may not know you, and so this is kind of a fun way for them to say, "Who is she?"
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you could give us a little bit of, I know I said, "How do I introduce you today?" And you said, "Dog mom."
Yeah,
So
dog mom. Everyone knows my little Winnie.
so so you can tell us about that and tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, sure. So I grew up here in Plymouth,
Mhm.
and actually we're at the old Pack TV studios, which is now local scene, and I live 5 minutes from here. Grew up here. This is my hometown. I'm proud to have it as my
Hmm.
hometown. The Plymouth Chamber of Commerce is a huge, well, I call them my business family. I was on the board for the Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce for 6 years. I spent 10 years as an ambassador with them. And now I'm going to be doing their Dancing with Our Stars, which is on March
Mhm.
28th, which is a massive fundraiser.
Now, are you gonna be dancing or you're doing the marketing?
Oh, no, I'm
You're
dancing.
dancing.
I am dancing. I'm doing the tango. I'm learning at Fred Astaire, which is right down the street. It's on the same street over here. So I know.
I just got the chills. That is my favorite, and I took classes at Fred Astaire in Watertown and learned
Really,
the tango because I love the tango. It is so hard and so fun.
it's hard. So I've had two lessons so far. And the first lesson, I was like, okay, I think It wasn't bad. It was better than I thought it would be. And then the second lesson, we already started learning choreography. And
Yeah,
it's definitely already getting harder. I'll have my third lesson this week, and I'm going to bump it up to 2 lessons a week.
great.
But March 28th at Indian Pond, I have to raise at least $5,000 myself.
Oh my
Each
gosh.
dancer does. So I'm definitely looking for donations. We're doing a drink special at Alden Park at Speedwell. Hopefully, more restaurants will join. I'm doing a bunch of different fundraisers, but
Well,
that's one
for the
thing.
people who are listening to you right now and getting kind of
Yes.
jazzed, how do they get you? How do they get a hold of you so
Well,
they
they
can
can go
do?
right to the Plymouth Chamber website.
Mhm.
I'm sure they've got info there, or the Chamber Facebook page. They can go to my website, kateplymouthbusiness.com, under our 2025 events, Dancing with Our Stars. All the updates will be there.
Wow.
So you can go there. But other than that, I do have a little dog, Winnie. She's definitely going to be pimping herself out to raise money for that as well. Winnie the Weenie, that's how you can remember her. Um, and everybody loves her. She's 12 pounds and she's
Hmm.
barely 2 years old. She'll be 2 in March.
Oh, great.
So I am a single dog mom, and she's lovely, and she's my little peanut. But other than that, I'm on the board for the Cape Cod Canal Regional Chamber of Commerce. They're a wonderful chamber. Love them over there. And I do a lot in the community. I bought this business in July of last year, Cape and Plymouth business. I purchased it from Dale Shabizian, who was the previous owner. We're a full service marketing agency, but we also do events, and we have a magazine, and
Mhm.
we do a lot for our community. So if anyone's in need of websites or SEO, anything in terms of marketing, we
Beautiful.
are here to help
Excellent.
with that.
Beautiful. Wow. So now, just back for a minute about dancing. Um, was your mom a dancer?
No, my mother was not a dancer. She did play the flute. That was about as I think.
Yeah, artistic as she got
Uh,
with that.
well, she painted. Like
Oh.
she painted little bit here and there, and she played the flute. My dad plays the drums, and he actually can draw. It's interesting because they have those talents and skills. I have nothing. Like I can't do any of that.
Yeah.
Uh, I I think my my talents were had to blossom in college, and I really had to come out of my shell. And I think the person I am today is a culmination of the two of them,
Mm.
and really being able to speak in public and write a good motivational speech and do all of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So I didn't really acquire their talents in drawing or musicality, or anything like that. But if I worked on it, I'm sure I
Yeah, just
could.
gotta
But
gotta pull it up.
I might
Yeah.
have been a great dancer if I started when I was young. I think I could have been.
Well, better late than never because, that is
Maybe I'll stick with
such
it.
a fun, fun dance, so that's
Maybe I'll
great.
stick with it. We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I love it. It's I told Casey, who's the owner, like I have really high anxiety. A lot of people don't know that. I have ADD, ADHD. I have high anxiety. Like people look at me and they say, I don't expect that from you
Mm,
because
yeah.
you're this and this and this and this. And well, yeah, but that's me out there.
So let me ask you something about that because that's so interesting. As a highly sensitive person, and again, that's what this podcast is all about. 70% of highly sensitive people are introverts.
I'm
So
introverted.
are you introverted? Because, and I only ask this out loud
Yeah.
because it is confusing to people. When I'm overwhelmed with just a lot going on, I really need the next day of real quiet
Yeah.
to kind of like recharge.
Yeah.
And I even tell my clients, picture yourself like a battery. What charges you and what removes the energy? Like what is it that's doing it for you? So would you say that because I know you to be you great in the audience, just like our the presentation, the event that you hosted, you would say that you get your energy from downtime or from uptime?
No, it's from downtime.
Yeah.
It's from downtime.
So it's work. It's hard work then. It's exhausting then for
It's
you.
exhausting. Like I
Mm,
go and be around 300 people and I just want to go home and take a nap. It's not, we actually just had that at the Plymouth Chamber annual meeting. Julie Brown spoke, and that's the third time I've seen her
mm,
speak at an event, be a keynote. And she talked about extroverts and introverts.
mm.
And extroverts feeding off other people,
That's how they
and
get their energy.
introverts
Mhm.
just kind of, they go out and they shut down.
Yeah.
It removes, takes all their juice. So I'm that introvert that goes out to a crowd and then goes home and I'm like,
Mm.
I'm just, I'm done for like a couple days.
Yeah.
So I can't do it anymore. I have to be extroverted for my job,
Right.
but that's just not who I am. I have to make myself that way.
Yeah. That is hard
And
work.
and the reason I mention that is because at dance, for 40 minutes, I can focus on the learning and the dance and
Mm.
not think about anything else.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It's the
It's
most
such a gift to
amazing.
be able to be present. It's such a gift. Even like right here,
Yes.
to not think about anything else. It's pleasurable.
It is such a relief to the mind and something I haven't been able to really do in over 30 years.
Mhm.
So I highly recommend dance and Fred Astaire to people because for 40 minutes, I can just do nothing else but dance and focus, and I haven't been able to do that in a very, very long time.
Wow. So, you absolutely have highly sensitive tendencies, don't you?
I probably do.
You probably do. So let's kinda go back to, I
Yeah, of
really want
course.
I really want to show people about how, and I know I already mentioned this, but it's worth mentioning twice. We
Yeah.
talk about, you know, we love our mothers, the people that are lucky enough to have that kind of motherly love. But interesting, I lost my mother and she was 54.
Really? I know
Mhm.
she was 54 as well.
Yeah. And that's just too young. That's like,
Very young.
what's interesting is as you get older and you're past that, and I know you're not, but I am, that scares you at that age. Like you get really scared, like, oh my God, it's a year away. Oh, now I'm 54. Oh my God. Wow. And then I'm 55. Like, what does this mean? It
It's
has such
terrifying.
it's terrifying. It has such an intense weight, which is kind of sort of
Yes.
ridiculous because, you think of your grandparents living forever
And
and
it's
then
so young these days.
yeah, it's so young.
60's the new
Mhm.
50 or
Mhm.
whatnot, so
Yeah.
and my mother I'm 38, and I'll be 39 in June this year. My mother was 39 when she had her first minor heart attack. So that terrifies me, and that's all I've been thinking about for years now,
Mhm.
and when I was 30, I was like, "Oh, 39 so far away,"
Yeah.
and
Blink of an eye, right?
now it's terrifying. I've already thought about I've gotta go see a cardiologist, I've gotta go do this and make sure I'm being proactive.
Right.
Um,
And you
it's
do these things, you do,
and
you end
really
up
change
really
I've changed my whole diet now that I'm gonna be dancing, um, and I've already lost a little few pounds and getting into more of the exercising, but yeah,
it's always on your
it's
mind.
consuming, very consuming.
So on point, we really do, and everyone that's listening, we really do have those like those real fears, and
Yes,
they're the ones that wake you up at night, right?
yes.
Something doesn't feel right in your body, you go right to crazy. That's why it's so important, though, to be really so proactive with the appointments and
A lot
be
of people
on.
and yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of people, especially men,
Mhm. Stick their head in the sand.
they don't, they're stubborn, they
Mhm.
don't like my father, he doesn't wanna go to the doctor, and I worry about him constantly
Course,
24/7,
course.
because I don't have my mother, so I have my father, I don't have siblings.
Oh, you don't.
No, I
That's a lot
mean,
on you. Yeah.
yeah, so I have a very close my mother's sisters, my aunts I'm extremely close with, I'm
Nice.
extremely close with my cousins on my mother's
Great,
side
great.
because I don't have siblings, but my father is I'm super close with, and he's 59, he'll be 60 in April, he's very young, and if something were to happen to him, I don't know how I would handle that.
Course. How would you? Right.
I think about that, and I'd rather not think about that, but it's something he does have life insurance now, that was something we did immediately after my mother died, which is so crucial. I talk about that a lot with people now,
Mm,
making sure they're prepared.
yeah. Isn't that something? Yeah, you
Yes,
really do go right to that deep, like, almost like that inner child that's, like, really protective and frightened again, even though we're grown-up people. So
yes.
let's talk about something kinda sweet because, I'm getting as you're talking, I'm getting flashes of, little stories and, visuals of my mother when I was growing up, but do you have any kind of I don't know, just something that pops in your mind, when you think about
Mm.
not only was it a sweet story, but because of that story, you knew just how much love she was sending you at the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some sweet stories with my mom. Um, Honestly, when I think back over the years with my mother, my favorite times with her are just having our conversations,
Mm.
like her getting me through a breakup.
Mm.
Like I might start tearing up at some point, but um, I went through my first the year before she passed.
Mm.
I had she died in September of 2018. Um, and in 2017, I went through a major breakup where I had an ex-boyfriend that moved out and she was there. And I really needed her to get me through that. And then, unfortunately, in 2023, I was with someone for over 2 years
Mm.
that I thought I was going to marry
Mm.
and I thought was really my person. And that was it. And I had to go through that breakup. And unfortunately, my mother, for the first time in my life, was not there for
Mm.
me. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Hard
it was
stuff.
really hard to
Yeah.
not have my mother
Yeah.
for the first time
Yeah. It's really hard. I'm
to
sorry I don't
go.
have tissue for you.
No, it's okay. I
Yeah.
didn't think I was going to get
Yeah.
choked
I
up,
mean,
but to have to go through
yeah, something so important without her. Yeah.
so like it's not that's not a sweet story, but it's something that like she was always
Well, it is actually. It is sweet because
there to go through.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
whether she told me, I was the one that gave her eulogy,
Wow.
which was very powerful.
Wow.
And the priest actually told me it was one of the best he had ever heard, which was one of the nicest things I had ever heard in my life. This is one, this is the priest had obviously been around a long time. And I actually said that in the eulogy. I talked about her getting me through these tough times. And she would always tell me, like, you have 2 weeks to cry
Hmm.
and then you have to get up and you have to keep moving. You have work to do.
2 weeks
She
to
was,
cry.
a career. You have to keep going. You have to keep moving. And
Right.
but to not have her there for this big loss in my life uh, was so very difficult
Yeah. And
to
it's
make these
it's a wake-up
decisions.
call too, right? Like, this is me now. I'm a motherless daughter now. Like, what? It's huge.
Yes,
That's
and it took me a good year and a half to really get through and over that uh, breakup. A long, long time. And but
course.
luckily I had my best friends and my aunts
Yeah.
and my cousins, and I've really come to terms with that without closure. Really, there was no closure
Mm.
there. And so it's okay. And I know I went and saw a medium, and um that helped. And she was also not there for the purchase of my company when I bought the business.
Another
And
big deal. Yeah.
these are big things that my mother has not been a part of since, and coming to terms with all these things.
Absolutely.
But that's what I really, over the 32 years that I had her in my life, those moments of I was able to go to her and get that advice.
Right.
And now all of a sudden making these big decisions on my own or having to go through um
Really big deal.
but I would say for sweet moments, like we used to go to the beach every week.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
I grew up as a beach baby.
Oh,
Um Total beach baby, and we'd spend so many days at the beach together. And that's what we did every day when I was little.
and,
But I just remember our chats together.
conversations, right? The
It was the
conversations. It was,
conversations.
yeah, it was the conversations. And the values that we take from those conversations and the lessons and the
Yes.
stories that resonate with us, you
It's the
know?
lessons,
Yeah.
and I'll always have that, and I would have rather have had a great mother for 32 years than no mother at all.
Absolutely. Yeah. With parents, that's how it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we learn so much, and now as a dog mom, you probably instill some of those values on
Yes, I
Winnie.
teach her many lessons. She comes to me for lots of advice.
Does she?
Yes. Should I poop here
Oh,
or should
well,
I poop over
there's
there?
always that question, and I'm sure you always have the
Yes.
answer for her.
But she's it's very yes.
Yeah.
She's a funny little thing. I'm lucky to I actually went and got Winnie when my ex moved out a few weeks later.
Mhm.
So she means the world to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do without that dog. She keeps me moving and keeps me
Yeah,
going and
yeah. She's your pal. Yeah,
yeah.
she's your pal.
Yes.
It's interesting when I in my studio, when I coach women on finding joy and all, and the mother comes up, um, it's so interesting how they either had an incredible experience and the tears go whoop, right here, like
Yeah.
raw red, or it's or they unfortunately, people will talk about narcissists, a mother that
Yes.
really was an awful and
Yes.
it's so interesting when I learn more about these people, the lives they've led and the lives they want for themselves, and how they are very loving and generous, and the older they get, not to say when you're young, you're not like this, but the older they get, they're even more and more and more loving to women because all of a sudden they start to see people younger and they want to be that mother that they feel like other people don't have. Like it's just incredible the kind of the bench strength you get from having an incredible mom.
Yeah. And I'm very lucky for that. I mean, I have a friend or two that they weren't fortunate enough to have a wonderful mother. So, although, yes, I may have lost, and you yourself may have lost a mother so young, and unfortunately, you said you were 12.
I was 12 when she got sick. I was 20 when she passed.
Okay, I mean I
Yeah.
mean, I still like, I, and I don't like to complain. To complain that she died, but still, 32 years with her. Again, I would still have rather have that than
Yeah.
no mother or a
Right.
mother that was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
it's interesting too. As we all have so many stories, but I just got a flash of my mother was very petite.
oh,
And so I was always I was very, very skinny growing up, very skinny, but she was I was really tall, so she was really small and petite, and I wanted her clothes because I didn't want those clothes to be put away. I remember wanting to picture her in that yellow and white flowered summer top, sleeveless top. I just wanted
they
that.
always had that one thing, right? My mom had
Yeah.
a red and white striped tank top
Yeah.
that my father and I still make fun of.
Yeah. It's just so
Yes.
interesting
Yeah.
what you hold on to. My
Yeah.
sister wanted the rings. I so much didn't. I wanted the top.
Yes.
It's just so interesting the memories and the experiences. What would you say would be one of your most profound lessons you think you've learned, or one of the lessons that you've learned from her?
From her passing or just her?
Either way, like what's a lesson that just kind of, I don't know, that you can share that just feels great to share for people?
I would say from her passing, like not as in not having her in my life anymore would be
Mm,
that I still work a lot,
mhm.
but I worked a lot. I still work a lot. But you need to find we all talk about, the balance of life, and it's so cliche. But
I agree. I
for
agree.
6 years, I really feel like I've done a good job at keeping a decent
Mm,
balance. So, no matter how busy I am, I
mm,
still text my friends daily or multiple times a week.
mhm.
I still make sure my dad, my friends, my family, um, they all come first. Because before that, it was kind of work comes first.
Mhm.
I was also building my career. Like, I
Yeah,
was
it
younger,
had to be a
so
priority in many ways. It had to be.
yeah, you do have goals and you have to build your career, but you just don't let other, career and things that aren't as important take over your life. Like, you make sure your family and your friends, and make sure you're texting people. Uh, if you have a fight, like make don't be stupid about things.
Yeah.
Talk to your family, talk to your friends, make time for them. Um, that's what I got after she died.
Mm,
I had to grow up a lot that night when my mother died. I I didn't realize my entire life, everything she taught me to that moment prepared me for that one night.
wow. Wow.
I
That's actually gives me joy because I think she did what she wanted to do,
She
you
everything
know?
she
Mhm.
taught me,
She was intentional.
and my dad for
Mhm.
32 years prepared me for that. I found my mother's body,
Mm,
which is very a lot for people to handle. But I was glad I was the one and not my father. And
mm,
everything that every lesson, everything she taught me, the powerful, strong woman she made me, it made me ready for that night. So
Let me ask you, do you still feel her? Or do you think you do? Or do you know you do?
I know she's the funny part is when people say that, oh, you'll see signs, you'll see that. I never see really anything.
Mhm.
And sometimes I get mad about that.
Mm,
But I see her all the time in my dreams.
wow.
Yeah, so I might not see like
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes I'll see a feather or sometimes I'll see a red cardinal, like little signs that I know she might be around
yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
I've seen the number 333 like 100 times in the past week, so I know I'm
Mm,
on the right path. I believe in those angel numbers, but
you do,
yeah,
you do.
but constantly in my dreams. And they say, it's them visiting if they're just kind of, there's nothing said. It's just kind of a stagnant,
Mhm.
they just kind of appear. So all the time in my dreams.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I do wanna just share with you that, the work I'm doing as an HSP has really taught me how to go very, very deep and meditate. And so what I offer people, and it doesn't happen all the time, but it's happened to almost everyone, when people are intentional about really wanting to connect, and they can, as we talked earlier, really get very present and calm the mind and put intention on that piece, um, they they can and they do come through. They absolutely can, they do come through. And I'm actually my book talks about it. I have my chapter called My Mother Came to Me. And the reason why is because I was shocked because I just missed her forever and she never even came in dreams. But when I put intention on it, I spent time with her.
Yeah.
It was incredible. So I always encourage everyone that has such a love for their mom still is to be intentional about connecting. Have a conversation with her because I don't know why we think that we are the only ones that can do that. Like, what makes us think that that energy is gone with the body? I don't believe the energy is gone.
No, the energy is all around
The energy
us.
is all around us. So, it's kind of a wonderful I think it's kind of wonderful because to me, I'll be in my kitchen and dishes will fall over, the bag will fall. It's constant noise to a point where I turn around and say, "I wish you would just come sit with me."
There are things like that every now and then.
Mhm.
I do believe, yes, that there are things that happen. Okay, that could be mom. But at first, for a while, there wasn't. So, but yeah, there are things that happen and I go, okay, maybe that's her. But the dream thing, yeah, it's a lot.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. It's gotta be nice. Do you intentionally go to sleep thinking, "I hope to see her tonight," or in my dreams
And
tonight?
every now and then, like
Yeah.
if I need answers, if I need advice, I definitely, kind of a prayer to her, pray to her. Like I could really use you,
Yeah, yeah,
especially with the business. Yeah, there's things
yeah.
definitely.
I think people don't say it out loud, they just think it.
I say it out
Do you?
loud.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, I
That
have
is
to. She was my person. I mean, I'm lucky to have my grandmother, her mother, that I can call. She lives in Vermont, but I can call and I can talk to. But it's not the same ever.
no, it isn't the same. Not the same. So how would you like, why don't you kinda describe her a little bit and, and then we're gonna wrap up, but how would you describe your mom?
Oh, that's a
That's a loaded question,
Loaded question about my mother.
but if you were to
She
give us a
was
couple of, yeah, descriptive.
very bold and s strong-willed and, opinionated,
Mm,
and she was, I think, if you know me, really know me, but, like, times 10, like, she was very honest and straightforward,
yeah.
but giving and caring, and she would have less so that others could have more.
Mm.
You know, she would,
Huge heart.
yeah, she had a huge heart.
Mm.
Um, she didn't care about, you know, her possession, like, she was it's, she lived within her means. It's like, I don't need a nice fabulous house or a nice car. It's just down to earth.
That's
She was,
fabulous.
she'd rather see, somebody else with a nice gift or nice things, and she was just a giving person, but she'd tell you like it is.
And how would you say that you are like her?
For my job, I have to be really careful what I say, like, from our,
Of course.
business, we all do, but I'm very I think I'm very honest and straightforward. I can be very opinionated, but that's mostly around my family and my friends,
Mm.
like, I have to be very careful, but strong-willed, I mean, I'm pretty bold. Um,
So
I
the
think it's a better question for my friends and my
I was gonna
family.
say, but the nut didn't
I
fall from
don't
the
I
fell from the
probably
tree.
wouldn't ask me.
That
Yeah.
sounds like you're right on, though.
Yeah, we
Um,
we were we were pretty similar, but it's a better question for the people around me.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Kara, thank you for
Thank
coming on
you.
and sharing and being so candid about your mom and your
Yeah.
feelings. I know people can relate to this.
Well,
Um,
that's the reason I don't mind doing it.
yeah, I think it's really helpful. People can just kinda share and be open about that and let our moms live on.
Yeah,
So
that's what I want. She needs to.
that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Kara Sapillo, owner of Cape and Plymouth Business Marketing. If you'd like to reach her and donate to this wonderful cause, she'll be dancing. Learn
Yeah,
more about it. Please reach out to me at Doreen at blossomhealingstudio.com and I will connect you right up with her. In the meantime, um, if you're interested in learning more about sensitivity as it relates to grief or looking for more joy in your life, you'd like to speak to me about a tune in for clarity call and get more clarity around how you're feeling and how maybe you can connect with a loved one, reach out to me. So again, Doreen at blossomhealingstudio.com. And remember that feeling everything is your superpower. Thanks. Until next week.